Good afternoon, YouTube world. Another episode of DRG. Today I'm going to go through what I discovered on the Highboy. For those of you that follow the channel, I did the 460 engine build where I garage rebuilt a 460. The series never got finished. I had some footage issues and issues getting the last two videos uploaded. I'll try to get around to finishing that series. See if I can get the repair the footage. Basically, I got the motor back together, got it in the truck. That required cutting the front bumper off of it, which had that big, huge. This truck used to have the big winch bumper. Got the truck or the engine and transmission in the truck. Had some pulley fitment issues. Took my time trying to figure that out. It sat all winter long. When I got back to it next spring, the motor wouldn't turn over. It was locked up. So I soaked the cylinders with the Marvel Mystery Oil, ATF acetone, PB Blaster, did all that stuff, lubricating the cylinders, thinking that the rings froze up. Let it sit for a really long time, come out and try to rock it, couldn't get it to rock, couldn't get it to spin, had no idea what the heck was going on. Broke down, bought an endoscope, drained the fluid out of it, checked the cylinders, and the cylinders are clean as the day I honed it. So obviously it wasn't a rusty piston rings, the frozen cylinders, that type of stuff. So it was something else. Got to thinking, and when I put the engine and transmission together, I don't remember ever turning the motor over before I stuck it in the truck. So this is actually going to be a lesson learned type of video. Always double check your work. Do a quick check before you throw it all back together, and I'll show you what I discovered. So I'll flip the camera around and show you where we're at. All right, like I said, bumpers cut off the truck. Pulling it out was easier, and I pulled the motor out because it was easier to drop the transmission from the motor out of the truck than trying to mess with it in the truck. So I got yarded the motor and transmission out. Basically, I unbolt the shifter tower off the top of it so it'll come out together in one piece. So the first thing I did after I yarded it out, okay, motor still locked up, separated the engine and the transmission. Tried spinning it, still locked up. Okay. Okay, that leaves me basically two more options. I have option one, flywheel bolts are too long. Option two, frozen wrist pin. And I was really hoping and it wasn't option two. So I unbolted the transmission from the motor. Still wouldn't spin. Undid the pressure plate and clutch disc from the flywheel. Still wouldn't spin. I don't know why I checked it, but I did anyways. So that left me down to the two options. Undid the flywheel bolts, pulled those out, and before I even decided to take the flywheel off the back of the motor with the bolts removed, I put the breaker bar back on it, which is still on it. And lo and behold, harder to do with. Maybe I could do this with one hand. It's a tight motor, but it spins. So, and I can actually spin it a full revolution. So I've actually turned the motor full revolution, 360 degrees. The motor turns over. It was basically flywheel bolts were too long and bottoming out against the I'm guessing one of the main caps. Kind of odd because I ordered ARP flywheel bolts, or the 12 point. I think part number 22802 is what I ordered. 7/16 by 20 thread, 1 inch long, the standard 460 part number as far as I'm aware of. It was at least the common length of most of the 460 part numbers that I found. So what I could gather is, we'll go into the garage here. So I got my clutch disc, pressure plate, L&L products. This is an L&L clutch or flywheel clutch kit. It's been on this truck on a previous 460 engine. I don't think the clutch has actually ever been ran. Pressure plate looks brand spanking new. That's dust on the pressure plate. Disc still says PHC Vallejo, so that's the manufacturer of the disc in this kit. It still has the lettering on it. And there's been surface rust on it, and I scuffed it a couple times, but I don't, and the clutch disc has been, it's been assembled, but I don't think this actually has any runtime on it. ARP Pro, one-inch flywheel bolts. Apparently the flywheel must be too thin. This clutch kit, when you order it from L&L products, actually comes with pressure plate bolts and flywheel bolts. When I bought the truck from the guy with all the L&L swap parts, I didn't get the flywheel bolts, so therefore I ordered those. I ordered standard 460 bolts, 1 inch long, and apparently they're too long. I have since looked up the correct part number. The part number that's currently comes in the L&L products clutch kit for the 460 swap is currently like a ARP 350-2802, I think. I ordered those. They'll be here, well, they were supposed to be here tomorrow, but apparently I missed cutoff between researching, finding out the correct length, and then ordering them and verifying that they're the right ones. By the time I ordered them, I missed the cutoff for overnight. So they'll be here Tuesday. We're not talking a huge difference. These are 1 inch, and we're talking 0.875 or something like that. So we're talking like a 1/8 of an inch shorter. So lo and behold, here I am sitting on an engine, letting it soak. And I filled the cylinders with fluid like 3 times and then let it soak for probably 6 months. Come out every so often and try to turn it. It wasn't turning. So there we are there. We're going to go through, and I'll have to redo valve lash on all the rockers, though honestly I think I did on my video, I talked about valve lash on this. I think these are just a positive stop. You basically just run them down, torque them to like 15 foot-pounds or whatever it is, and that's the valve lash. You don't actually have to zero lash in half a turn type of thing. I don't think that's this style of rocker. I think this is just a bottom them out and set them to the torque spec. Motor is filthy. But I'll redo the valve lash, find the correct bolts, put the flywheel back on. This time make sure it spins after I put the flywheel back on. And there's my learning lesson. When you mate the an engine and transmission together, make sure it still spins when you're done. So I figured I'd give you a quick update, just let y'all know where I'm at. And get this all cleaned up and put back in, hopefully by next weekend. I'd like to say, yeah, I'll be able to fire it up and get it running, but the truck needs other stuff. Needs wiring. I'm missing, I think, the engine harness wiring. L&L headers. There's obviously some run time on the headers. Set up with an O2 sensor, an O2 bung, at least on the passenger side, so it's kind of set up for EFI. L&L frame mounts. The engine mounts are on the engine. Oil pan and oil pump for the conversion kit. Only thing I didn't get, and the gentleman I bought the truck from with all the 460 stuff, he didn't have the L&L accessory brackets. And if you want to make the swap easy, get all of it from L&L. I'm using the OE alternator bracket and the OE power steering bracket, though I'm not sure that's the correct. That's like a Saginaw pump, I'm pretty sure. The alternator and the cross member on a 4x4 try to occupy the same space, but if you get a Power Master, their version of the Ford one-wire alternator, it's a smaller case and it fits. So I have a Power Master alternator. I also have a Power Master starter. So we'll see about getting this in and figuring out some wiring, coolant temp sensor, oil pressure, coil wiring. And get it wired up, get it installed, and hopefully we will get this engine and transmission and the truck running under its own power. You can kind of notice that I had to flatten the tires to get the truck low enough to get the engine out, just so you know. Highboy with 35s requires flat tires, at least with your standard 2-ton engine green. Alright, well, as for always, thank you for watching. Click like, subscribe, and share. Comment how much of an idiot I am down in the comment section if you want. We all make mistakes, as long as we learn from them. I must have got cocky and was in a hurry, but we'll get this put away and wait till next weekend to put it all back together.